Hello, and whilst that was a good introduction to Swain's kit and abilities, I think if you want to learn how to really play it, just go back and watch the last damn game as Claire was absolutely popping off on Summoner's Rift. Now match point as Legacy are up 2-1 against Avant Gaming, and Avant is staring down the ugly barrel of another fifth place season.
They've said it so many times in AV Life. They've said it on broadcast that they refused to finish fifth place. And suddenly Legacy trying to put them back there, you know?
Certainly are. And for the second split in a row, the IWNL is not going to win. Because the Chiefs kept saying it last split for Price, and unfortunately it did not work.
Yeah.
And this split, Avant tried to carry over the mantra, and it's looking like a bit of a bummer.
It absolutely is, but now 2-1 to Legacy. We're into Game 4, and we've seen some side switches. Legacy are now miraculously, for the first time this series, on the right-hand side of our screens, Jake Spawn Tiberius.
And
so
they're taking some time with this pick. It's going to be the Scion ban away. And so neither of these teams have done enough to get rid of all three of their bans. Cassiopeia, Gangplank, Kha'Zix will remain. Caitlyn, Galio, Scion. Rise first pick.
Here we go. But it's the opposite team now. So will it just be the Swain takeaway immediately? AV, I feel like, and it will be. They've done so much preparation into the Rise, and they show that they play the Corki and they're comfortable with that matchup. Now on blue side, Legacy have also shown that they're happy to play into the Rise. So both these teams kind of, we're talking earlier, like just do nothing. That's the winning condition. Now it's just don't pick Rise. That seems to be the winning condition.
Yeah, 100%. And I was really curious about this because Rise for like 5 weeks was just a no-brainer. If he was up, you took it. I mean, really, then the Syndra came out and we'll order. I can speak. I will say we were very shocked that that champion was picked in that circumstance, and it won Chiefs the game. And then I'm sure that if you go back and you ask Ryoma, did you expect to play a game versus Anivia? His answer would not be yes. So I think that this is just a pick that teams are slowly starting to figure out as the split progresses.
Yeah, one of those things, when something is meta for so long, eventually people get sick of playing it and start figuring out the counters to it. When the meta changes every 2 weeks, things like that, you don't really have time to craft multiple counter picks, which is what you need for an OP. You don't just need one, you don't just need two. You really need three to be able to not get pinched. But, of course, the draft has progressed. We're going to see Sybil on his first non-Rek'Sai game of the series so far.
The Sejuani going to mount Bristle and ride the boar into combat for one last hurrah, potentially. Or, you know, a defeat. Cho'Gath gets banned away. I expect this to be a Braum ban, by the way.
Yep. Would make a lot of sense. But if you talk from experience, that Pabu might just be looking at another Maokai game.
You can double ban top lane. Get rid of something like Gnar and try and pinch them into Camille. They don't. They just ban Tristana, a pick that we have not seen at all.
I think 8.5 to receive a little bit of a nerf right here.
A little bit of a nerf. Yep. 25 attack range.
Plus range. She is shorter range than Vayne.
Yes.
You don't think about that. You think like Tristana, you know, the passive ramping up. You think about like level 18. Her range is like absurd.
And Legacy banned the Braum. So they want Zyra Khan. And Avant are like, okay, well, we're not going to let you have it.
That's going to be the ban away from AV. Makes a lot of sense there.
Yeah.
And that is a top side of the map. Swain, Ornn, and Sejuani. It is a lot of AP. So Legacy kind of indexing pretty hardly into that stat there. But it's a lot of CC.
Certainly is.
And a lot of damage.
What do you play now? Alistar.
Maybe.
I think you have to.
The only other options are really defensive tools like Tahm Kench, but you've already got an Ezreal. You don't really need that one. Maybe they go range support. Maybe they do lock into Lulu finally. Instead of going Janna, maybe they go Nami.
With Ezreal.
Or Nami.
You're going to have to speak quicker to sell me on that one.
What's the AD carry going to be out of Legacy?
Tahm Kench. Ooh, Bard.
Ooh, okay. Seen it. He's played one Bard game, the only Bard game of the season, I think, and it was very successful. I mentioned at the start of the broadcast, AV's bottom lane is pretty polarizing. They either win hard or they lose hard. This game has been pretty stable in the bottom lane, but the Bard performance was one of the wins where they won hard.
I like Bard.
And it is locked in. I also like Bard. Thank you very much. It's a fun champion.
I feel like you like to play Bard, whereas I like
to watch Bard?
No.
You like what Bard does to the game?
No, I like the feel and like mystique of the champion.
Yeah, okay. He is a bit mysterious, you know? Like he's never like at the top of the meta really. You have like some players that play like Aphromoo, like Rosie.
another champion I like a lot is Jin. Quite possibly the two worst Jins on the server in myself
Speaking
and Bryce.
to you right now,
yes.
I'm a burn my 4th auto attack, then flash forward with no autos, Jin, by the way.
We are bad at the champion.
Yep.
However, like watching him in League of Legends, and he's only up against really half tanks in the jungle and the top lane.
And that's the thing. Nah, not the tankiest member of the top lane, Ryze, immobile and pretty squishy. And then you have Bard and Ezreal, also very squishy. If you look at Legacy's lineup, let's run it down. Ornn, CC. Sejuani, CC. Swain also has some CC. Jin, guess what? He's got CC, and then so does Taric. They have just, like, their team fight will be a steamroller, and they have the capacity to get picks whenever they want.
And they can start it from anywhere. Ornn Jin is something that we first saw brought out by Team Liquid in the North American LCS. He calls in the Ram. You root them up. He smacks them with the Ram, and they're already being peppered by the 4 bullets of the Virtuoso down there in the bottom lane. Big fan of Jin, and we'll see how he goes in this game.
But to look at the flip side of the coin, you have to think Ryze in the early game, they have that CC. And bot lane, the Bard. They do have that ranged into melee matchup. There is all the playmaking in the world early game for this Bard. He will have the proactivity. I'd like to see some creative play out of Jake. I feel like he has kind of evolved into a pretty creative support player, and Bard is one of those champions that you can see played very different. Like, you can be like a flash forward Bard, you can be like a skirmish roam Bard, you can play defensively.
And this is his team. Avant Gaming are on match point. Their captain has locked in a signature pick, and everything right now is on the line. Avant Gaming versus Legacy for the last time, potentially tonight. We stream onto Summoner's Rift. This was always Raid's best champion, in my opinion. He had some of his best games last year on Abyss, on Jin. And we'll see whether he can do it in this game.
Speaking of Abyss, Raid, Pabu, and Frey all used to be teammates under Abyss.
Certainly did.
They all played to one another. So Raid, prior to the series, was saying, sorry, boys. I love you, but unfortunately, I'm not going to let you win. Legacy kind of backing their 80 carry up right there. They are on match point, as you mentioned. So no fancy level 1s coming out, but AV and the bottom lane are kind of looking for some picks.
You actually shocked about that we haven't seen any level 1 shenanigans? Or is best of 5s too risky?
I don't know. Best of 5s is where you see it, like the evolution, right? Is where you see like an invade come out game 1, and then for the rest of the series, you have to be so careful. Especially when you have, we've had a lot of Braum games. We have Olaf. Olaf's been in every single series so far. Bard. We saw some very cheesy things last year where you started tunnel and you can get back in. Yeah. To the tri-bush on your screen on the right-hand side right now. You saw some very cheesy things, but speaking of cheese, they're just going to cheese the blue buff right now.
They are. These are the two best level 1 champions in the bottom lane. Ezreal as well as Braum. You can get the big stuns. You can get the meep slaps. There we are. A little bit of damage coming across. Do they get any more? A couple more auto attacks. Are they just fishing for Klepto? He's already got himself 1 Klepto proc. Going to try and make him smite it away. Did not.
They do get the buff, but Sybil falls incredibly low and only on the other side of the map going to take his red. And not only his red, he's going to take the Raptors as well. So speaking of level 1s, we didn't see an invade. We didn't see really any cheese, but just a very nice read on what's been happening so far. Sybil on his first non-Rek'Sai game. He's not going to have many camps to jungle with.
No, he certainly isn't. And you can see already that he is going to posture towards that top side of the map. And the thing about Only is he hasn't got mana, but if he has enough for the W, we'll still do this buff incredibly quickly. And you can see that Sybil right now is going to check 2 camps and realize they're all gone.
And that hurts. That absolutely hurts for the Sejuani right now. Only level 2, but is matched. And the jungler for AV has every single camp available. See the priority in bot lane right now. Ezreal Bard absolutely just pushing in on the bot side of the map.
It's a pushing machine.
Yeah. Electrocute Bard. Because that's the thing, right? You talk about supports, they take either Green Tree or they go Inspiration. So
however, he's been stunned up. He's going very low. He's going to have to flash.
Oh!
Flash 4th shot will do it right there.
Disaster for the bottom lane of AV. They have the priority. They have the advantage, but a nice stun from Decoy sets up the play. Only level 2, and they have CC from both their members.
And I would have to catch how all of that happened. Because, I mean, I did not expect that. And I can tell you did not expect that.
That hurts. That absolutely hurts for a Bard, because he is squishy, and he's immobile. But he doesn't really have defensive capabilities, so he kind of like, is this fringe pick where if you're winning, Bard is very good, but from behind, he doesn't have a lot of options. We talked about his versatility, but dying at 3 minutes into the game, if you're a support and you base and you have to buy like a Fairy Charm and you don't get your support upgrade, then
yeah, that sucks.
That is, it's been a bad lane. And only 3 minutes in, That's a bad lane.
Look at the boots purchase. It's happening.
Swifties.
Swifties are back.
He's zooming around.
He's going to be the quick tier 3 boots. We don't see him very often.
Yeah, we don't. Absolutely at all. Only's trying to get a response for AV.
This is very smart from Only.
Could potentially just salvage the lane.
Because he is ahead. He doesn't
Raid.
need to do anything right now.
Oh, Raid respecting it. Very nice.
He's
and
asking for
ping
assistance.
it out. He can ward over that bush, over the wall. He
Watch
can
the
place that
tutorial
one.
Raid.
He doesn't have one, but does decoy. Here we go. Come on. Is he going to ward it? No, he's walked past the spot. Oh. If he walked up to that
They're
bush
trying to
and
bait
face
this right now.
Oh,
Here we go. Very nicely done. They actually go in because they have the Sejuani behind him. However, it stuns him up against the wall. Teleport's coming in as well. And this is just going to be a legitimate 3v4. Through the portal, they all go. And Claire has completed. Sybil now looking to continue, but they do get the TP.
And Bard, and only Bard, can do that for a team. So they burn the TP from Claire, who didn't actually come from base. He went from mid lane, so hasn't got himself a recall.
He had to. That was a kill on decoy waiting to happen.
Had to burn the flash, of course. Only was trying to get onto Raid, but it was the Taric to face check the bush, so they do have to go onto the member of the bottom lane that does have flash. So no kill traded. The TP advantage goes over to AV.
Yeah, it certainly does. We see now finally the first shot coming out of Only. It's going to be 3 camps up, goes back, gets himself blue smite as well as a Hunter's Potion and boots. So he will be on the map for as long as he would like to be on the map, Bryce. See whether he's able to get anything else done. His jungle's not respawning for a while, though. So still some more free time.
He's going to track towards the top side. This is the fabled Gnar versus Ornn matchup. And in the history of these two teams, Ornn has won every single one of them, and he is 4-0.
Except for first game today.
Oh, you're right. There you go.
I think he's won the next couple as well.
Uh-huh.
So I think he's like...
Did we? No, but we didn't see it into Gnar. It was into Cho'Gath. It was into Maokai.
So you mean the matchup specifically? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, all right. I'll give it to you. The matchup, Ornn
I
has won
trusted
every
you.
time.
And then I thought about it. Was like, hang on.
I thought you were saying that Ornn was undefeated.
Absolutely not.
He is, apart from one game, which makes him defeated.
Like, yeah, that makes him not undefeated. Very interesting build path out of decoy. Actually based and didn't go for the relic shot upgrade. Went for the double regen things. Going for the health, going for the mana as well. So obviously,
what the heck?
Taric wants to go tier. Maybe he didn't quite have enough.
Yeah, potentially.
Because you need 500, and those two items cost collectively like 250.
But
So one's the pinks as well.
That's 150.
Yep.
So that's 400.
So they wanted the
still
extra
didn't
safety.
have enough.
Yeah. Claire, sorry for age, just trying to clear out the wave right now, wants to get himself a blue buff. Of course, he has no mana, has not even base for his tier right yet. So we'll be doing that just now.
Only got himself a 5 CS advantage
Yeah.
from the teleport out of Claire, which is about a wave, so it makes sense, but not the best.
But I feel like the fact that Claire's going to get a base off fine in this matchup, like Frey should have been able to get a bigger advantage. He should have been able to shove that one in when Claire TP'd bot, and then push in the wave, and then immediately base, and he would have tier, he'd be set up on the map. His TP would already be off cooldown, or not off cooldown, but it'd like be rotating towards off cooldown. But Claire was able to go into the bot side, didn't get a kill, so it was an unsuccessful gank, but doesn't really get punished for his use of TP early.
Second game in a row, not second game in a row, but second game today where we've seen Only put the jungle on hard clear. And very surprised he's actually not ducking his head into blue buff right now, as that is something that he, with no priority bottom lane, as well as a neutral mid, would be able to do.
No, he's actually looking pings towards the bot side, so he sees the blue buff. Sybil is tracking down here, but potentially Only might be able to pick this one up before the Sejuani even arrives.
Absolutely, he should be able to absolutely decimate this buff.
Unless Sybil can go over the wall, but he'd have to know it's taken, and of course no vision, and he's kind of just dancing around placing that pink ward. Will go down, so Claire's about to find out that his blue buff has been stolen away by the Laff.
As Parbu actually going to be nearly soloed out here. That's going to be the ram.
Oh,
flash forward out of Mimic, flash out of Parbu.
Hard
Nicely
commit.
played by Mimic.
Yeah, the hard commit to the play. Knows the damage reach there.
He's got the wave in a great spot as well. Parbu is not going to get access to this one easy.
But you see members of Legacy, AV, are tracking towards the top side.
And he's about to go Mega on the bounce. Will not be able to get the fling that he wanted. However, in comes a Rise ulti, and now he does go Mega. Chucks him into the wall, and the rest of the Goon squad shows up, and that will be Avant Gaming picking up a kill.
And Mimic gets almost immediately punished for his use of the flash. There goes down. AV do get the play on the top side, but Legacy is matching with an Earth Drake, so consolation prize.
Potentially also going to get some damage onto that mid lane turret. Funnily enough, Frey actually kept his cleanse after the punishment that he took in game number 1. Walked that one back.
Of course, Claire TP'd bottom lane, so didn't base and TP back mid. Oh,
that
actually,
was close.
Potential steal coming out. Sybil didn't even use the flash.
There's
sorry,
the
didn't use the smite. because he wants to steal away the red buff. So there was potential for a steal there.
However, can he steal away the red buff? Because he's got a Bard as well as an Ezreal hovering over.
Bard's getting chimes. He's gone way back to the inner turret.
Over goes Blinky. He's looking to contest. It's level 6 versus level 6. He takes away the blast plant. And they actually get the stun. No, they do not. How did that miss?
It hit the red buff and then hit the ward immediately because it's around the corner.
All right.
If he chucked it a little bit wider, it was all about the angle. Then potentially it lands onto Sejuani.
I will trust Red Pants on this one. He has played a couple of Bard games. However,
Bard is very good into Jhin. Not just because you can ulti him when he ultis, but because when he ultis and you're not in range and you don't have the ult, you can just zoom up a wall mat.
Is that right? There you go. That's what you're talking about right there.
Yep. That's the interaction. Jhin engages. Jake says nope. And then everyone just goes back to laning. Because I feel like Jake would like to have a little bit more health.
Yeah, I think so as well. However, he's just going to prepare himself some hot cocoa or whatever it is on this. Oh, look at the meats.
They're like little flowers on the skin.
Yeah,
you need the Christmas, the snow day skin.
He's just going to be able to ride a portal up the wall and get himself back into this lane. Pretty quick smart. How bad do you feel when you muck up that interaction?
Oh, like up the wall? Yeah. Like in the base and you get a really short portal
and you're
up
like,
the wall?
now I'm walking like a peasant. I am a mythical being.
Especially because he doesn't have Mobies.
Yeah.
You love getting 5 stacks of the chimes because when you pick up the chimes, obviously Bard's passive.
You start zooming.
You start absolutely zooming. And it like stacks up. So you get 1, a little bit of move speed. 2, you're getting a bit there. And then once you get to 5 with Mobies, you are just flying around the map.
And now he's really gone on a pilgrimage.
Yep.
He is in the top side of Summoner's Rift. Taking himself a Rift Herald, however, on the way pings are there.
But he's one of those weird champions that they can get away with this. If Legacy do come up and check, which it looks like they are, they can just go down the wall. Claire uses the W to get some vision, so they know. So it does cost AV a little bit of tempo.
I actually call in the Ornn Horn one more time. Doesn't get anyone. However, 5-man rotation. They will just be able to pick up the aggro, as you're mentioning.
And that's one of those greedy plays from AV, that if it works, you get yourself an accelerated Rift Herald for free. But as soon as it does not work, you've cost yourself tempo bot side. Legacy pick up the buff in the end, and they don't even really get any turret damage bot side.
They do get themselves a couple of waves bottom side, and that was not going well for the Ezreal, to say the least. So not the worst play in the world. As you can see right now, Bard's trying to annoy the absolute heck out of Ornn, and Frey has actually caught out Sybil.
Ooh.
They're going to actually go over the wall, and Sybil might die here. The Rune Prison is back up and available. That will be, no, very nice ultimate. Means that he will be punished. In comes Claire, looking for something here, gets the slowdown. However, Frey still has ultimate, flash available. Will burn it now. And that will be all she wrote.
Fortunately for Legacy, Raid is just slightly too far away to hit people with the ulti there, as they do all just walk out of range. Claire, when he's ascended, he's a very, very scary Swain.
They also pop the Herald here, so they're looking for a little bit of turret damage in the mid lane. You can see Chunk is there. However, that spread from Rise should clear out everything else. And Mimic in the bottom lane, meanwhile, will get dunked, and the Laugh will pick himself up another kill.
Yep. Legacy still looking to contest the mid wave. Do they just rotate straight up top to take that one down? Uncontested by AV right now, but no, we'll just back away towards mid.
AV just do the exact same thing. Do they go bottom to mid and just force them off? Because that is a Sejuani with no ultimate. It's going to be Claire with no ultimate as well. Ornn has no ulti at the same time. And you can see that Sybil is just so low and being bullied out of his jungle. I think this is very nice play so far from Avant Gaming.
Pings are actually going out. Legacy looking for another pick, but never moved. Does not quite land. Pabu is approaching.
Will get ripped back. And now Pabu is about to go mega. Huge ulti into the wall, and the bounce is there. Can they get anyone? No, they're just going to survive. And the ultimate will come out of Decoy. He actually gets 2 of them before it pops. And in runs the Olaf. He is unstoppable and very, very quick. Some would call him a sprinter. Some would call him a Viking. I just say that he's killed someone. And what the heck was that?
Can Jay get more? Raid actually has the flash. Potentially does follow up this wall.
Ulti not there.
No.
Magical Journey not there.
Doesn't have the cooldowns available.
But still, that was a 3-for-1 on the back end. What looked a very good Legacy play.
Decoy just falls. Ever so close to getting his ulti off. We see the sunglasses come down very soon. Pabu very nice into the wall there. Unfortunately for AV, Legacy, if Jhin was on your team, that'd be a triple bounce into a quadra kill probably, but the sunglasses do not land. And he is a Viking, chasing themselves up the river. So there you go. Clean up a nice couple of kills. AV steadily in the lead right now, approaching 4,000 of the gold lead.
I'm starting to lose it. This series is starting to heat up. I do not know if I can do another Gauntlet run like we had last split. we're going to all 5 games if this game progresses the way it has, because they've already got themselves a 4,000 gold lead, and it is just 13 minutes into the game. Pabu is massive. He's 1,000 gold up. Mid lane, 1,300 gold up. And the jungle is nearly 2,000 gold up in the lead.
That's disgusting. 2 kills and an assist plus.
2 levels.
2 levels, 24 CS. Bunch
Only
of camps in the
is
lead
a man
right now.
possessed. He's heard a lot of people say, you know, oh, actually, let's not talk about that right now. They will be able to get Frey. He will start sprinting away. Very nice Tempered Fate as well. And Blinky will just be able to line up everyone. Decoy falls down. Where is Sybil? Will join him in the Death Chamber. Huge ultimate out of Mimic. Will be able to get a couple back, but on their head, Hubsana throws everyone back and says, let's go, boys. Time to rumble. Raid on the back end, putting in a lot of work. And it's just Pabu as well as Frey, but those Swifty boots are starting to put in work. You can see he is flirting with the idea of going back in. However, Frey wants him. Huge bounces there, and Frey gets himself another kill. 5-0-3.
If there's one thing you can take away from this series, it is very close team fights right now. That looked like it was AVs, that it looked like it was Legacies, but they turn it around in the end. Going to get themselves the Dragon on the back end, and we see this once again. The nice setup at a Legacy to look for the proactive rip. They do get onto Frey, but Jake stalls out the fight for long enough. Tempered Fate comes through, multiple man stun. But then Mimic arrives. He gets a huge knock-up and cleans up a couple of kills, and then another knock-up on the back end of that. You feel like Legacy had just wiped the floor, but all of a sudden, Frey gets the shield. Pabu hits Mega, and his ulti is available. 3-man ult. Ray doesn't get into the turret, but Mimic goes down. And that was so close.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't.
So close.
Pabu's ability to hold the ulti until Raid walked forward ultimately won them this fight. You see the bounces here, and Rise's damage when you've got a couple of those runes around you. It's a bit scary.
Absolutely. So he went from being a 3-0 Rise, 3-1. Sorry, 3-0. And now he's got himself 5 kills only. Just going to be extending his...
If you can go from 3-1 to 5-0, please teach me how. Because when I start dying, the train does not stop, let alone go backwards.
It is Illion. It is Illion for that one. Even then. That's a bad... Maybe Bard can, like, you know, like change time around a little bit. Legacy looking for potentially another play.
You can see right now they think they've caught out someone in the Dragon Pit. It is going to be Blinky, not wanting to use the flash, and multiple members are going across there. They will throw an ultimate at him. Mimic is very low as well.
Ooh, can he land it?
Not yet, and they use the Tempered Fate. This might actually be the fight that they're looking for. No, it's not.
Realm Warp actually going topside. Claire is incredibly low, no flash.
Claire, actually underneath this turret, should fall down. There are so many members. He uses the ultimate, but flash forward from Frey will secure that kill.
All of a sudden, AV seem like they're in complete control of this game. Gold lead extended to about 6,000 right now.
I think that's huge. Attacking Claire, the superstar. People are calling in the unanimous MVP at the moment. Getting in his head before a potential Game 5 could be massive. So even though I think if Frey went towards the bottom side of the map then, they could have maybe rinsed the fight. They're looking to try and play that war of attrition.
Not to mention, you think about the champions. If they suddenly can beat Swain, they're like, hey, you've shown the Rise. We know about your priority.
Sybil, please.
He's actually stunned.
Has to get the heal as well.
Barely just lives in the back end, but AV have shown. Clay, you can play Rise, and then we'll play Corki into it, and we're absolutely fine. Swain, last game, absolutely popped off, but this time, we have the experience against it. If we play Rise into Swain, we feel absolutely okay in that matchup. All of a sudden, you take Clay off his comfort picks, maybe tracking into a 5-game series.
And
could
people
be good
will
for
not
Avant.
remember this because it is a bit of a stretch. Actually, that's a nice never move. Rips Blinky back. Actually, the stun goes sideways, but that's an Olaf over there, so it's in the right direction. And what I was going to say is, when the Hellions were going through promotion relegation, if there was a person that actually stood up on their team, it was Frey. He was a monster in those 5-game series. He was doing everything he possibly could to try and keep them out. However, Pabu now caught out on the top side of the map. Rest of the team is here, however. In goes Only, and he's doing so much damage. Sybil will fall down, and Mimic is being collapsed on. Very nice flash will get him out. However, Only goes over the wall and will continue to chase the tank. Gets stunned up against his own pillar. That is not fair, Bard. And they skip out on the portal. 2 kills picked up for Avant.
Picks going everywhere in the favor of AV right now. 5v3 on the map. Unfortunately, for Avant fans, the Baron isn't even available yet. 7,000 gold lead. Only's going to take away another red buff.
Only is huge right now.
He is.
He is having a career-defining game.
He's almost got a Randuin's, and Sybil has a Ruby Crystal.
He has got a Randuin's when he bases.
He does. He's got to pick it up right now. Picks up a red buff. About 30 CS lead in the jungle. And does he have it? He goes back to base.
I wonder
he does,
if
he picks it up.
This stage of the game, Bristle is like just sitting there thinking, why is my rider not as strong as this barbaric man?
Why don't I have a Viking on my
Why
back?
don't I have a Viking?
With 2 axes. I've just got a stupid flail.
You got a single flail. Come on, step it up.
He's got double the weapons. That's unfair.
You're letting Bristle down.
So we do take stock of where the game is at. About 1 minute away from the Baron. 6,000 gold lead in favor of AV. They really need to be able to equalize the series here to have...
big gold lead on the junglers.
It is.
Even bigger on the mid laners.
Gold leads galore for AV right now. Over 2,000 for the mid-jungle duo, respectively.
I mean, you can say the same thing about Claire. He's sitting on a stopwatch as well as a haunting guys. And that is a completed Abyssal Mask, a completed Seraphs, and the makings of a Void Staff before 20 minutes for the Rise.
He's popping off. He's absolutely popping off. 6-0 and 5 right now. Cosmic Binding's just going to whack Sybil in the face, but nothing behind him, so
and
no
Sybil's
stun.
been caught out again. Goes over the wall. That was very close to being interesting.
1-3-1 is set up by AV right now. Legacy looking to answer in the mid lane with Claire, but he's going to have to go topping answer the wave. Parbu was looking to steal away another blue buff from the side of Legacy, but unfortunately for him, Mimic kind of saunters on over.
Yeah, and Sybil just needs to be really careful because he's not tanky at this stage. As soon as his passive is popped, if he gets caught out, he will fall down. You can see right now they're actually jockeying for position around the Baron. Only will get never moved and will have to burn the ultimate. Do they turn this around into a fight? No, they do not.
Fighting in the jungle is actually so scary for Legacy right now. You have Bard, you're playing in those choke points. Tempered Fate lands on multiple carries. We've seen it before. You instantly lose a fight. They can maneuver on the side of AV just so uniquely with that tunnel as well.
However, at the same time, now without the Olaf ultimate, potentially there is a window you can look for. You can see Sybil is standing in a pink.
And that's the thing. Ragnarok, once that's down, they have nobody that can phase check. Claire has been landing the rips time and time again, despite Legacy falling behind. But they have a Bard. Very squishy, not a frontline champion. Probably going towards the Spooky Ghost here, so if only doesn't have the ultimate available, then AV have no one other than Parbu that can really face check any vision of Legacy.
The problem is are you really scared of this team doing Baron? They have a Swain and a Jhin for Baron damage, and a Sejuani that cannot tank it.
And Tarek, out of all the supports, he does a bit of damage,
best, yeah.
But I feel like the support really is not the difference in how you take down a Baron. So AV going to get themselves an Earth Drake to make their Baron a little bit quicker. Already have an Ezreal.
They have an Ezreal Rise, and I would say they have a very quick Baron.
Legacy have not been able to set up any flank TPs right now. Of course, they do not have a single turret, so it's so hard for Mimic to kind of influence the play. He's just sitting in the side lane. Parbu is just wailing on him. He's even in CS. He's down in score, but he has.
He's hit some big ultimates. He's been dove a couple of times. I feel like this is one of the times where, you know, even though he's 1, 4, and 3, I do not feel like the game is his. Ultimate has been thrown, as you mentioned. However, it didn't hit anyone. Didn't even get a flash.
Yeah, AV do just back away from that one, so big cooldown lost by Legacy there.
Sybil is a confidence player. We say it a lot, but I feel like this game will be playing on his mind a little bit, as Only is all up in his grill. Has caught up in levels, however, at least.
Catch up XP. Doing himself some favors right now. Frey is looking to contest the top side of the map. Will be a 2v1 if they commit, but Sejuani has no ulti, so they just back away, and AV...
This is nearly a
take down the
10,000 gold lead, and Ray runs forward
nice.
The only way he could have gone to live.
Very nice Ghostblade.
He's got himself a Swifties, a Zeal item, as well as a Ghostblade. He is a quick Jhin.
He is absolutely a quick Jhin.
He's going to have to be quicker if he wants to outrun the Olaf, though.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. Any slow lands. Actually, no, he's got slow resist, man. He's got the Swifties.
Yeah, I mean...
He's OP. I feel like if the Axe lands, though, you're still probably flashing away from the rest of the AV's lineup.
Yeah, he's got himself Blue Smite as well as the Predator on the boots. So.
And the Randuin's as well. Yeah. He's got the slows, he's got the speed up.
Randuin's actually very good against Jhin. Guaranteed value.
Yep, 100%. And I have figured it out. If Olaf doesn't have the Ragnarok, sure, they can't face check a bush. But when you have the Spooky Ghost on the Bard...
Oh, there you go.
You don't need to. They have that non-committal vision. They throw out the 2 little ghosts. We'll be able to spot out Legacy. I feel like that's pretty valuable in a series like this, where we've seen time and time again, mostly AV, but both teams have seemed to kind of just sit in the bush every now and again.
Bit rough there.
Yep.
Double warding the brush. However, Jake has 2 more, so not the biggest deal. That's going to be a random face check by Sybil, and lucky that one of those 3 members wasn't a little bit closer. Otherwise, he probably would have died.
Absolutely. Red buff will be taken away by Raid.
That's a big crit.
That is absolutely a big crit. But Baron has just been started up. Habu will be able to tank this one, has the Randuins.
They actually know that it's going on, however, you can see that they're pinging it out. There is a ward in the back of it, and they use the eye to just chase them off because they didn't want to take the 50-50. However, now Sybil, again, going very aggressively forward.
And that is just a bad pink out of AV. That should be further in the pit, further towards the center. If you put it on either side, then a ward on the opposing side means the Legacy do have vision right now. Habu will be exhausted.
I think this is also just a little bit...
Oh,
actually, they're going to go for it. In goes on, however, does not... He does land on someone. Huge ultimate coming across, and Blinky has just been blown up. Now they will look to continue the fight. Mimic goes forward. However, Rise is tracking over. Claire by himself at the moment.
Oh, the rip will land onto
Will
Pabu.
actually get the rip, and now Pabu flashes the right direction and will be able to get himself to safety. You see that Sybil goes over the wall after him. Pabu still kiting back like a madman. About to go Mega, and Sybil goes down. In goes Pabu, looking for an ultimate. Will he be able to find it? That's a premature ultimate out of Decoy, and I like it a lot because now Pabu is just stuck between all of the members. Decoy goes forward. Huge flash stun play, and now Frey trying to turn this one around. The bouncers are there. He does have flash, but he will not be able to get over the wall because he goes forward. What the heck is he doing? Ray just lives, and this will be the ace for Legacy.
Legacy find the picks they need. They will eventually be able to clean this one up.
Won't.
No, Blinky is alive.
And
he died
back.
so early into the fight.
From outer space, he flashes forward. Maybe he should have used that one to get out, Blinky. What are you doing?
One more Q. Can he let it EQ? There we go. Got to be taken down. It won't be the ace for Legacy.
The hero that Avant deserved.
Is it? He was the one that fell down. Legacy find the pick. You saw the Orn-Jin combination. Jake was trying his best to disengage, stunned up the carries.
All I saw in that fight was Frey flash forward and try and kill everyone.
Yep.
And I was a little bit shocked, but also tiny bit impressed.
He does a lot of damage. Unfortunately, it just was not enough. As soon as Legacy find themselves a pick onto the 80 carry, 4v5, they just chase them down. Very nice ulti, you pointed out by Decoy. Preemptive. But knowing that Pabu's Mega Gnar was running out, they were going to continue the chase. It just meant no turn was available from Frey, because if you're in the jungle against a Rise, if he has access to the backline, he will just spread damage your entire team. So Legacy seem like they're on the same page right now, playing together, finding the picks they need.
However, it is important to take stock. We are still a full item ahead on the jungle of Avant Gaming, as well as a full item and a half on the Rise right now. This game got easier by 3,000 gold, and they're still 7,000 gold behind.
TP's actually going
TP's
topside.
going topside, as you said. Everyone is getting up there. Show us who it is. It's actually Claire being caught out. Ragnarok has been popped. They throw them into the wall. However, that burst might be enough. You can see right now that Frey is going very low. Will get stunned up and will eventually... No, he will not fall down. He is unkillable. And now they're onto Decoy. They're onto Mimic. Where is the rest of the team showing up? Mimic is going so low. Sybil on the back end somehow joins it. No health as well. And Jake is looking for the back line. You see that right now Raid goes into his ultimate, but he has to cancel it. Has to start running. And Pabu is now hunting down the AD carry of Legacy. Will get the hyper. Boomerang lands. He will fall. Ace for Avant Gaming, and they should look towards Baron.
And just as we say, it's not easy for Legacy AV. They find the pick they need. No jungler, so no smite, but with the tankiness of Pabu, all the members of AV still alive. They will be able to take this one down. Gold lead heavily in their favor.
Jake obviously needs some soloed gold right now.
He got
just off an item, apparently.
Look, if they don't need you for the Baron, then Bard is probably the best side lane support you're going to get. We're going to see how this one actually comes to fruition. Claire just caught out of position. 2 members of AV find the single Swain in the side lane, immediately just goes down. Frey lived through such an incredibly long time, and there's kind of this weird 2v2 going on in the river right now. Blinky and Jake are kind of contesting the members of Legacy. And it means that in this 3v2 topside, they eventually win. That buys enough time for Frey to not go down. Raid gets to the back of the fight, but he literally has a single auto. And that's one of the downsides to Jin. Once he gets there, he's got an auto, he's got an ulti, fires off 2 shots, and does no damage, unfortunately.
Yeah, can't get anything else. And, you know, the fact that they won that 2v2 with the support and 80 carry versus jungle and 80 carry just shows how far behind Sybil is in this game. 1-5 now, and is on struggle street. 8-1-7, and that is going to be the stupid orb picked up for Rise. And it's going to do silly amounts of damage. That is 200 AP when it is fully stacked.
Right now, it's sitting at about 126.
As well as 30% movement speed for 40 seconds. He's going to see someone. He's going to get himself 100 stacks. He's going to run at them and blow them up.
AV. Take down the second inner turret, looking for their third right now. Legacy desperately trying to hold on, but...
This is a tilter. If I lost a Spellbind or Rise in a best of 5, I would be mad.
Do you think it's that bad an item?
I think it's an awful item. Okay. Do you like it?
I mean...
I think it's a good snowball item.
Yeah, it has its place, potentially.
Yeah.
But you see it more on things like TF, and I guess like Rise, move speed is a good user of move speed.
Well, it has been picked up one time in the LPL by Rise. However, the Rise was up, I think, like 4,500 gold.
Oh, yeah,
so he literally
could have picked whichever item he wanted.
Yeah. He opened the shop and he was like, this is the definition of luxury. As we see that they're looking to continue to poke down. That is big damage and an awesome ulti. Decoy's just trying to get his whole team in and will be able to. So Ragnarok is popped to run away. The Ornn horn is sounded, and you can see that it does hit onto Pabu. However, they disengage, and on the back end of this fight, Blinky gets stunned up, gets hit into the wall, has to burn his stopwatch. Can he get back out? He goes backwards. However, you can see the Frey now starting to pump out the damage. No turret there. Wants to get forward onto the carries. Pabu will be able to slow up Decoy. However, Raid has his supports back. Wow, that's a lot of damage coming out. And they should just still be able to collapse onto this mid lane turret. Sorry, inhibitor.
4v4. Pabu's
huge play out of Pabu. Gets Claire. And now what can they do? Decoy's going to fall down as well. That will be Sybil potentially falling down. Raid goes awfully low as well. On the back end of this, Frey is just cleaning house. And you can see headset off of Raid. Everything has fallen apart for Legacy. 16 seconds left on their top laner. This one is going to Game 5.
Such a close series. Game 1 and 2 back and forth looks so even. 3 heavily in Legacy's favor, but AV, game number 4, they answer back hard.
This is a 16,000 gold lead in a 31-minute victory. It does not get more of a comprehensive victory than that. Only may fall down, however, we go to Game 5.
Oh, here we go. The style picks. The Bard out of Jake dies early. Does so much in the team fights. They finally show that they can beat the Swain. It's not just going to be the one and done for Legacy. Now AV, the man on your screen right now only, having an absolutely ripper series against Sybil.
That was a blinder of a game.
Yep.
Stole away his red buff, took his chickens, was level 6 when he was level 4 again.
He's stolen red buff, he's stolen chickens, he's stolen barons, he's stolen dragons only. He's just thieving everything that Sybil thinks he owns. Does he even own it at this point, or is it just onlys?
And I cannot stress enough, after Legacy picked up that victory versus Order, everyone was saying 1, 2, 3, 4. Avant were out of it. Then they had that good game versus Direwolves. And I was like, this is close. Like, what if?
58 minutes.
And they have asked the big question of Legacy right now. In 5 games, with your inexperienced lineup, with only one retained member in Claire, are you ready to go to the distance? Like, Charlie's been there before. Blinky and Jake have been there before. Really, it is
Frey's
only
been there
Claire.
before in like relegations. He's played these best of 5 high stakes. I guess only is really the fresh face, and maybe Pabu as well.
Yeah, but Pabu even promoted in.
True.
So he's played some big matches in his time.
He's played relegations from the other side.
Yeah, it is legitimately Claire that has done it for this team. And the captain of Legacy that game was picked on. He didn't have a bad performance by any stretch, but they just continually went to his lane and tried to get him behind.
And that's the thing. I feel like it's not just about Claire. It is about the jungle 2v2. I feel like Frey and Only played that one so well. Only specifically is kind of, this is 4 games in a row. I feel like he has been outplaying Sybil in the jungle. And I feel like at a certain point, Legacy need to find a way to stop that happening, because if all of the lanes just go evenly, if they can match Claire in the side lane, if Mimic isn't getting an advantage top and bot lane just kind of tracks how it has been for the majority of the season series, if they just play it evenly, then Only seems like the defining factor for AV.
Yeah, and Legacy looked like they had one trap card. They had the Swain. What more do they have in store of us? Because, I mean, in response, we got a Nah, we got ourselves a Bard. Really game on right now. However, to break that game down further, let's give it back over the Analyst Hangout.
Thank you very much, guys. And Avant do not want to finish 5th in this gauntlet. They are hungry. Legacy get one sniff of victory, and Avant are like, no, that is not happening. We'll take you all the way. They've been in this position before.
There's something about OS gauntlets in 5 games. I tell you what, it's there's nothing less. I feel like we should just make gauntlets a mandatory 5 games. It's not a best of 5 anymore. It's just we're playing 5 games because every time we get to a gauntlet, it's 5 games.
They sure are. And even though Swain popped off last game,
Yes.
Avant didn't think it was necessary to ban him out.
Maybe
I
it's
mean,
not broken.
Yeah, and the top side of the map, Frey, Only, and Pabu, they were able to pop off.
Yeah, so I guess this was panic stations for Claire when he's overextending to clear this wave. Like, he had no business being here. But in saying that, AV knew that Claire was going to clear this wave. And prior to this skirmish here, even though there was a significant gold lead on AV's side, it was looking like a 50-50 game. It was just a bunch of A-ramming and running down mid pretty much and skirmishing. So this fight for me really opened up the game. It was, yeah, again, it opened with Claire getting caught, and then it was just cleanup duties for the rest of the team. And after they got the Baron and after they won this fight, I think it was pretty much all but over. AV just had the superior, they had the gold lead, they had the late game, and it didn't even get to late game, really. The only person that I could say had a decent performance was Raid.
Raid, yeah. Well, speaking of ARAMs, did that give you a bit of a throwback to the good old Sin days?
Yeah, shout out Rymeister for the Sin ARAMs. But no, it was good fun. It was like, okay, those games are never like good to watch from an analytical sense, like to learn from, I would say. It's not like, oh wow, like this is insane macro and micro, but it's just a good old fashioned slobber knocker. That's what it is. I'm gonna call it a slobber knocker. And it's just good. It's good fun to watch, man. Like, you're just sitting there and you're like, what's going? Like, sometimes you're like, what's going on? Or sometimes you're saying like, I don't think they should be doing that. But in the end, it's like it's all fights, and it's good to break up a series with a game like that.
Well, in the player cams, we saw Blinky absolutely popping off when the team got a great fight. But
yeah.
Can Legacy mentally reset after that game? It seems like Avant were really ramped up.
I saw Raid's headset when after right at the end of the game, he just like rips off his headset, and I don't know if he said anything or what he said. But if I was him, like, I wouldn't be feeling too down on myself because he's having like a ripper series. To be honest, probably the best series I've seen him play all split. If I was to call out, I mean, okay, we're in a best of 5. We're 2-2. I think at this point in time, it is our job to say who needs to step up from their team. I think it's fair for us to say who needs to step up. I think if you're Legacy, Sybil 100% needs to step up.
Put him back on Rek'Sai?
I don't know what it is. I think AV have worked him out, and they're playing really well around him. So first things first, I think he needs to play a little bit better. I think Blinky needs to play a little bit better for AV. And I'd love to see them both play better so we can have like a banger of the last game.
Well, that's kind of going back to what we were saying in game 1 about how Blinky is like the person that can swing games from a win to a loss. But then also Claire, because it seemed like Avant kind of got into his head a bit there and we're putting him down a bit.
I think as a tendency for most of those players, especially the emotional ones, where once they feel themselves falling behind a little bit, they start trying to reach for a lot more. So in the replay that we showed, Claire obviously knows he's behind, and he sees how far ahead that Frey is. So he's like, okay, like I really need to get this minion wave top. AV know that, and they set up accordingly. But I think that's like it's not even a mentality. It's like a disciplinary kind of issue in game. Like, players need to just learn to cut their losses. Yes, I'm behind, but it wasn't over. Like, we were still winning the game. So if I'm Claire, if I'm Sybil, if I'm Blinky, because he had moments in that game too where he wasn't looking too crash hot, I think they all just need to reset and think, okay, like, I trust my teammates to do their job. All I've got to do is my job. No more, no less. If I fall behind, your job becomes different. Your job becomes, let's try and recoup losses. Let me just try and play the team game. What can I do to enable my team to carry? So I think it's like less about yourself and your individual performance, but more about once you fall behind, think about like, what do you need to do to enable other members on your team to carry?
So Juves, if you are Order, judging by this series, who do you want to go up against? Avant or Legacy?
I mean, if it goes to 5 games, it's pretty coin flip, isn't it? I'd have to tell you at the end of the last game. Like, I think they both have their strengths and weaknesses. Like, I would say that Legacy are stronger in the mid to top side. But in saying that, I don't even. It's 2-2. Like, I don't know. Who do you want to go up against?
They'd probably have to think.
I would say the only reason I would say Order would pick AV is because I think they would have a better time like punishing that 2v2 bot lane. Because I know how the Order bot lane thinks, and I know that what they're thinking about, and they're like, yeah, like they just want a hard 2v2 that bot lane. And I'm not saying that anyone's better than anyone, But that's like what I think that they're thinking, and they may not even be thinking that. They may want to verse Legacy. I don't know.
It's too hard. Okay. If you had to pick an MVP from
Yeah.
this series, who would it be?
From so far,
Yeah.
I would say Only.
Only.
I think Only's been consistently above average for his team.
He had a good game that game.
Yeah, consistently above average. Whereas like everyone else has been like average or a bit below in certain games.
Well, we have had
And
a
Claire's
message.
actually had some 1v5 games.
Speaking of Claire,
Yeah.
we've had a message
Okay.
come in about ideal MVPs. And Luke has said it's going to be, he gave a prediction as well, it's going to be a 3-2 to Legacy.
Okay.
Claire puts the team on his back and pulls out a monster Zed performance like last Gauntlet. I mean, Zed would be great to see, but
Yeah, we might not see
I
Zed.
feel like we're hoping.
But I could see the backpack going on. I don't know about the Zed, but I could definitely see him just putting Raid in his backpack, and then Raid's like a little afro hit just pops out. It'd be like real cool, real cute. I love Raid.
Do you think we're going to have Claire going back on Swain?
No. I think he'll go.
Swain is
He's
so
gonna
good.
in a 2-2 like that. I think he's the type of player to fall back to something that's comfort. I think they're all. This is all gonna be comfort. I don't think you're gonna see anything different. This is just gonna be what. I often ask young players when they join the team, my team. I say, what's your if you had to play at Worlds right now, or if you had to play a game for $1 million, like what's your 3 champions? And I often get them to say they're champs, because then those are the champs that you'll practice leading into an first week OPL game or whatever. And I'm sure they would have a similar system of like, these 3 champions I would play for my life. And I think that's what we're going to see. Like, I have my 3 champs.
You have your 3 champs.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get you to
Don't
say them.
do that.
We've only got 1 game left, ladies and gentlemen, either Legacy or Avant. And we are going to progress to phase order tomorrow. We're going to find out who that team is right after this break.
The bounce is there. Can they get anyone? No, they're just going to survive. And the ultimate will come out of Decoy. He actually gets 2 of them before it pops. And in runs the Olaf. He is unstoppable. And Blinky will just be able to line up everyone. Decoy falls down. Where is Sybil? We'll join him in the death chamber. Huge ultimate out of Mimic. We'll be able to get a couple back. But on their head, Hubsena throws everyone back and says, let's go, boys. However, Frey wants him. Huge bounces there. And Frey gets himself another kill. Parbu is just stuck between all of the members. Decoy goes forward. Huge flash stun play. And now Frey trying to turn this one around. The bounces are there. He does have flash, but he will not be able to get over the wall because he goes forward. What the heck is he doing? Raid just lives. And Jake is looking for the back line. You see that right now Raid goes into his ultimate, but he has to cancel it. Has to start running. Boomerang lands. He will fall. Ace for Avant Gaming, and they should look towards Baron. This is a 16,000 gold lead in a 31-minute victory. It does not get more of a comprehensive victory than that. Only may fall down, however. We go to Game 5.
Welcome to the League of Legends Champion Spotlight, featuring Urgot, the Dreadnought.
You die when I choose.
Urgot's passive is Echoing Flames. Attacking an enemy near one of Urgot's 6 legs will fire out a blast like a shotgun, damaging all enemies in the area. Each leg has its own internal cooldown. Additionally, multiple Echoing Flames for the same target deal reduced damage. In lane, Urgot's passive, combined with his ranged auto attacks, let him weaken his opponent before he goes for the kill. But be careful, the cooldown on each leg is quite long at lower levels, so if your legs are down, you're the one who's weak. Urgot's Q is Corrosive Charge, which explodes at a location, damaging and slowing everything around it. Enemy champions struck are Locked Onto. Locked Onto for what? That's up next. Urgot's W is Purge. When activated, he gains a shield and slow resist, but lowers his base movement speed for several seconds. While the effect holds, he automatically fires the nearest enemy, or preferentially, the nearest locked onto enemy champion. Like you'd expect, these attacks will trigger your passive at the correct angles, which means you'll want to reposition around your opponent to get all the damagey goodness. Urgot's E is Disdain. Urgot charges, damaging and pushing aside all enemies he tramples. If he runs into an enemy champion, he'll stop, stun them, throw them behind him, and lock onto them. If Urgot runs into a wall with Disdain, he'll stop at the wall, but won't stun or throw it over his head.
Hold on. There's something. That's better.
Getting on the other side of your opponents can be incredibly difficult, so it's hard to shoot all 6 Echoing Flames. Thankfully, Disdain puts your target right behind you if it connects, allowing you to get more bang for your buckshot.
A pathetic display.
Urgot's ultimate is Fear Beyond Death. Urgot fires out and impales the first enemy champion struck, damaging, slowing based on their missing health, and locking onto them for the duration of the tether. While impaled, things get scary for Urgot's foe. If they fall low enough, Urgot may recast Fear Beyond Death to seal their doom. He suppresses his prey and pulls his chains back in. When his target finally reaches him, he brutally executes them. If Urgot successfully grinds an enemy, he terrifies the living who still remain.
Power. Feel. These are my weapons.
Purge churns out a ton of damage, but it's up to you to make sure it hits the right targets. Locking onto the right one is paramount to avoid wasting all of your damage and getting off on the wrong foot. Or knee. Urgot may be beefy, but he is not a tank. His ranges are low, so he'll need good positioning not only to maximize his damage, but also to simply stay alive. Stay on the fringes of a fight, looking for the perfect moment to harvest your first victim with Fear Beyond Death. Try to draw an opponent out and unload your rotation on them. Once they're low, you can go for the execute even if they try to run away. From there, it's cleanup time. Focus the targets who can't escape you, and take them down one at a time. The most important skill to learn with Urgot is choosing the right moment to go all in. Done right, you'll go from Urgot to Urgod. Thanks for tuning in to the Urgot Champion Spotlight. Click these links to learn more about League's newest Star Guardian. I'm kidding, but you will dread not reading up on everything else.
Run if you must.
Hello and welcome back.